clubs and see how to positively influence the key factors that drive PT penetration, notably member conversion to PT clients, retention, trainer upskilling, and coaching consistency. As I said, we've got David online. He's the CEO of Evolution Wellness, who are the biggest gym chain in Asia Pacific. And we've got Jason Thomas from GoXPro, a global digital personal training platform. I'll start with David, who's online. Actually, a little bit of a background. So David was supposed to be here with us. Unfortunately, he was sick. So, and he's still sick. So he was kind enough to still join us. So apologies for the introduction at the beginning. It was a bit wonky, but we are happy to have him on. I'll start with you, David. If you don't mind, tell us a little bit about Evolution Wellness and how many clubs you have and which regions you operate in.
Yeah, sure. Thanks so much for having me, and sorry that I can't be there in person. So a little bit of background. Evolution Wellness is a holding company that was formed about 8 years ago when two brands in Asia, Celebrity Fitness and Fitness First, came together. Those two brands had spent a few years going head-to-head in heated competition, and both owned by private equity groups, and decided to go through a merger process. So Evolution Wellness was born out of that merger. So the two core brands, Fitness First, play in the premium sector across Southeast Asia, and Celebrity Fitness is a bit more suited to a younger audience, a bit more edgy, and we would say provides more entertainment with fitness, whereas Fitness First in the premium end of the market offers a bit more science behind exercise. We have 134 clubs today, and we operate in 5 markets. We are in Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia, and Malaysia. And I'm currently talking to you from Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, where the regional head office is located.
Thank you. And Jason, here with us, can you tell us a little bit about GoXPro?
Sure. Look, GoXPro is a digital personal training platform. We specialise, as the banner says, in digital personal training. We're currently in 16 countries. We operate in 16 different countries, obviously right through Evolution Wellness in the Fitness First and Celebrity Fitness brands across the 5 countries as well. Our mission basically is to build better coaches faster, that increase client satisfaction and PT revenue. And hopefully Dave will be able to talk through some of the stats and what they have experienced with us. On the back of that, we also have a pretty cool software that allows us to do all that. So over to David. Yeah.
All right. So David, before adopting GoXPro into your business, can you describe to us how some of the pain points that Evolution Wellness was experiencing?
Yeah, so if we go back a few years, some of our challenges, we were leading the region in personal training penetration, but stagnating around about 11% of our membership conducting personal training. We are the highest employer of personal trainers in the region, but we experience quite high turnover of trainers, and our onboarding process in terms of education was around about two months, with a further month of in-club training. So about 3 months for a trainer to be, let's say, productive. And once they were in the club and performing, then the trainer would take about 8 months to hit a level of productivity with sufficient clients to be hitting our minimum expectations. We would expect a trainer to be doing about 85 hours per month of personal training, and it was taking our rookie trainers about 8 months to reach that level of productivity. So a bit of a slow burn, and of course that's how they generate their own income. So we've seen some incredible improvements in the onboarding of trainers, the retention of trainers, and their productivity increasing as well.
Yeah, this, just to add to that, I think they got it down to, in the first 12 months of us working with them, they got down from 8 months to get to productive down to 4 months. So basically 100% improvement in the first 12 months.
All right.
Yeah, that's right. So that's exactly right.
Cool. And in terms of obviously the digital side of things, can you tell us a little bit about the selection process in choosing the digital platform for personal training and how you went through it?
I'll be very honest, I think we stumbled on the solution. When I first met Jason, GoXPro had approached me through a former colleague and asked me who they should be talking to in the education space in Indonesia specifically. And Fitness First and Celebrity Fitness were the biggest recruiter of personal trainers. We had our own in-house education program. So there was actually nobody in the pure education space. So we started a conversation about what GoXPro has to offer in terms of the education platform and started to look at how we could turn that into a member-facing application that our trainers could use, not only for their education and upskilling, but to put in front of the members and show them their programs and how they were progressing. So that's how we first met GoXPro. We collaborated in order to turn the education platform into something that was member-facing. And then when we went to market to assess, I think there were about 12 other platforms that we looked at. There was nobody that was actually offering what we would call very personalized personal training. So the assessments, the evaluation of clients, taking that individual's personal criteria and building a program around that, we just didn't see anywhere else in the market. We saw lots of applications that provided appointments and selling of sessions, but nothing that was truly personal training around the product.
That's excellent. And easy for GoXPro, I guess. So let's talk about the initial outcome for the first 12 months. Can you share with us some key returns on investment that you tracked on the first 12 months following the rollout of GoXPro?
Well, the introduction of GoXPro came during that dreaded period of COVID, actually. So our clubs were closed for, as most of us were, for many months. And we took that opportunity to double down on our training with the vision of coming out of COVID being much better than when we went in. So we took the GoXPro product, we trained and trained and trained during that period of closure. And then when we reopened, all of our trainers had a tablet in their hands with GoXPro to be able to show their clients and to show their prospects. So the first thing that we did was for every single prospect that came into the club, irrespective of whatever their goals were and how well they knew us, every prospect went through a mini evaluation using the GoXPro application. So we would take a photograph front, back and side of their posture, and we would show them exactly what their imbalances might be. In that mini evaluation of 2 or 3 minutes, we then saw our conversion rates of prospects to join us move from about 57% to 72% in the early months. So that creating those sort of wow moments with the prospect who's come in with interest to join the gym, we were able to show them something very specific, which gave us credibility and allowed the member or the prospect the opportunity to see the vision of what they could achieve through personal training. That was number one. We introduced selling personal training at point of sale. So not only were we then converting prospects into new joiners at a better rate, but we started to sell PT packages to the prospect at that point of sale. And we've sort of steadied off at about 22% of members buying a personal training package when they come through the door. And for us, that's about $900,000 a month in revenue from new clients. So that's a step change in the business, in filling the funnel of personal training clients who are getting the best onboarding experience. I think that those are the two key metrics. We touched on the success of the new trainers becoming productive in half the time because of these conversion rates improving. They're earning about 25% more than they were pre-introduction of GoXPro. So the trainers are winning, the clients are winning, and then as a business, of course, we're seeing some upside as well. So pretty much ticking all the boxes right now.
Okay, and how are the numbers looking now for you?
We're doing very, very well. If I single out our Thailand business, which does lead the way, last month they hit 27.5% PT penetration, over $3 million in revenue from 36 clubs, just from the PT side. So it's some really, really strong numbers. Thailand set the bar pretty high for us, but almost industry-leading statistics, I think, coming out of the Thai business. And bear in mind, these are developing markets, which I guess, we're not as far advanced as perhaps Europe, North America, for example.
Definitely. Now, looking ahead and look at what's coming for Evolution Wellness, what is the new technology tools are you implementing now and looking into implementing in the next 12 months?
The latest innovation for us is we've been running in-club challenges for quite some time, looking to engage the members who are not active in personal training. Excuse me. So we're running a monthly challenge in a club. It might be a 1,000 meter row. It might be how far can you run in 12 minutes, that type of thing. And so what we're using GoXPro for is to record all the results of the participation and the times or the repetition and the weights that have been used. And we've set up digital leaderboards in the clubs, which update on a live basis. So as a member completes a particular challenge, they see their name or their nickname or an avatar go up on the leaderboard. So that's creating some more talking points in the club, generating some excitement. And on top of that, we currently have a body transformation challenge running in Malaysia. And we have 1,300 members signed up for the challenge. And again, we're using the application to record everybody's statistics, monitor their activity, and keep a leaderboard of who's making the most progress. So you can see all of that in the app, and you can see it on the digital leaderboard in the club. So there's a lot more engagement, and that's helping us reach out to a wider audience than just the PT clients. So we're pretty happy with that. As a business, we're introducing high rocks programming, which probably most of you are familiar with. And we'll start to run high rocks challenges in the clubs, again, using the platform. So there's a lot more to come.
Okay, so
Do you mind, can I just jump in? Do you mind sharing, David, the percentage of your revenue that's coming from personal training now, without talking exact numbers?
Yeah, we're doing nearly 40% of our revenue from personal training. We haven't recovered in terms of membership volume compared to pre-COVID, but our personal training revenue is about 120% of pre-COVID levels. So really driving the top line there.
okay. In terms of challenges, obviously a lot of clubs and a lot of operators run challenges all the time, and they do manual boards. What is the difference? Why do you think you went to digitalize it? Why do you think it's better? Or can you just, do you see that it's generating anything in terms of revenue for Evolution Wellness?
We don't charge for the challenges but we have seen retention improving across all of our markets quite significantly. Excuse me. And that is a combination of the better engagement and participation levels on the gym floor, and of course the personal training penetration increasing means a longer customer lifetime value. So both aspects contributing to improved retention, which is, you know, an industry-wide challenge.
Yeah, we see the challenges as very much an onboarding or a stepping stone onto personal training as well. There's some little tools in there so that each coach can see, for example, which of the members are doing the challenge are actually their clients. So it's a touching point. You say, hey, I see you're in the push-up challenge. You know, there's some exercises we can do so you can do better than last time. Plus, they've got all that historic data that the guys just didn't have before with the paper system.
All right, thank you, David. Now, Jason, I was going to ask you a question about the buzzword we hear in the fitness industry today, the hyper-personalization. What's your take on this word, and is it used too often, do you think, in our industry?
Look, at the Beyond Active event in Singapore last year and the year before, that was the buzzword, hyper-personalization. And I don't really think that generic style digital programs equal hyper-personalization. Hyper-personalization for us, and this is kind of 24 years in the fitness space. I've got an exercise science background, and I was a personal trainer for a very long time as well in different countries. So I think I kind of know what I'm talking about in this sort of thing. But hyper-personalization for me comes down, or is stemmed, or comes off the assessment process that we do with our clients. So if we need to have a reproducible assessment protocol that's standardized at a very high level, so it is scalable. We want to look at muscle biomechanics. We want to look at posture, and do strength tests, mobility tests, and endurance tests. And again, as David said, we can do a mini version of this as a taste test for members that come into the gym, so they know what personal training is ahead of time. Or if you do the whole battery of tests and you're taking through them all. What this gives the coach is she knows exactly what the goals, the strengths, and the weaknesses of the person are biomechanically speaking. They can then create a program, and in that program that is hyper-personalized, it's got what's called prehabilitation exercises. Is that a term anyone kind of knows, prehabilitation? No? Yes? It's the step before rehabilitation, basically. So studies have shown in Australia that up to 72% of people who start training, exercising, have a predisposition to injury before they start to train. So rounded shoulders, pelvic position, etc. So if the person hasn't been assessed, then we can't give them preventative exercises to avoid injury. I'll give you an example. If someone presents with a medially rotated shoulder, so rounding shoulders, you see this a lot, right? There's basically three muscles that do that. There's your lats, there's your pecs, and there's another one called subscapularis, which do this movement. So if I'm already a bit rounded in my shoulders, because I only train mirror muscles, then I go into the gym and I start to do any sort of lateral raising exercise or overhead lifting. It's a question of time before I develop subacromial impingement, like the shoulder impingement, basically. Okay. So if a trainer can identify this predisposition before there's an injury, they can put these prehab exercises into a program to address this issue. Does that make sense? I know it's a bit granular level, but we want to talk about hyper-personalization, right? If they're a really like a low-level beginner trainer, all they need to do is identify that. They don't need to know which muscles are overactive and which ones are underactive at that stage. They can simply then go and choose a template and program to address that issue that they've observed. At the same time, the person might be there for weight loss, so they can take another template if they want and combine the two. There's their program done. So think about if you're paying your trainers the opportunity cost savings in decreasing, say, 3 hours of programming a week to 1 hour. Across the 2,800 trainers that David has across Evolution Wellness, that's huge opportunity cost savings. Cool. In terms of how that scales across your business, a correct assessment process that's supported by the digital tools to make it look pretty. Basically, from the client point of view, it makes them feel special, makes them feel heard, it motivates them, and as I said before, it allows them to understand why they're doing exercises they're doing and avoiding others. Fitness Australia again did a study on the two main reasons why a client stays with their personal trainer. Reason one was individualised and personalised service, and reason two was the knowledge that the exercises they're doing are actually good for them. And if you're sitting there pushing a weight, you don't really know why you're doing that exercise, it's less motivating. If you know that's a really good exercise for your goal, whether that be a prehab goal or a weight loss goal, fit into the dress, whatever, then that exercise you start to like to do. Okay, so that's to me what hyper-personalization is, and it's a key factor that drives conversions from an assessment session done to personal training sold, PT retention or client retention as well, and they're the two factors that feed into PT penetration.
Obviously, David, from your point of view, obviously that was from your point of view. From your point of view, David, what do you think about the assessment process that Jason just described for us?
Well, actually, I've got first-hand experience because I had some back issues, right? We haven't discussed this, Jason, but I had some back issues and took a Pilates program over about 6 months. And at my initial assessment, the trainer showed me my hip alignment was significantly off, and that was causing some sciatic nerve issues, right? So, I mean, a number of us probably suffered from back pain, but I could see that my hips were slightly misaligned. 6 months later, after the program of Pilates, the trainer carried out another assessment and showed me that my hips were aligned. Obviously, my core was stronger, so that the Pilates had benefited in many ways. But without actually seeing it, I wouldn't have known. And that's the wow moment that we're able to create with clients. It's not just about lifting a bit more weight, but what improvements have you made? And sometimes, as the client, you're not even aware. So tracking the results and being able to show the client, I think, is incredible, incredibly powerful. And then at the end of the session, capturing some qualitative data around, was the session too intense? Did you enjoy it? Would you like to do more or go harder? So that there's also the functionality to capture some qualitative data that we can, from a management perspective, we can see how our trainers are performing and how they're delivering their sessions. And from the trainer's perspective, they can adapt and adjust the sessions according to the response they're getting from their client. So actually, my experience is firsthand of how that can benefit.
How many hours are you doing roughly now per month of personal training on the platform across the 5 countries? I think you mentioned that.
Yeah, we're doing about 230,000 hours a month. Last month was the highest we've achieved. So there's sort of $6 million in PT revenue across the 134 clubs.
They're only charging about $20 US per session as well, so it's quite large compared to other parts of the world.
Yeah, our personal training's good value.
All right, so Jason, now that we talked about David and his assessment, do you want to give us an example of a muscle biomechanics test that a trainer performs during the assessments?